Hi there, Chris, chap in the cap from Motolegends, here today to talk to you about leather jackets. Now today a wee bit different. We're not going to talk to you about one particular jacket and review that in great detail. We're going to go through our selection of our top 10 favourite jackets. Now clearly we don't do every motorcycle apparel brand out there. We do some of the better brands, I would suggest, but we've just chosen from our range of brands, we've chosen our favourite jackets, and we've managed, it was hard work, but we found our 10 favourite jackets. So we're now going to go over, we're going to spend a couple of minutes on each jacket, tell you the strengths and weaknesses, tell you a little bit about them so that you can make your own selection. So this is the Ace Legend from French brand Helstons, and it's exclusive to us. Now we've worked with Helstons for many years. Their most popular jacket was a model called the Ace Vintage. Looked a little bit like this with stripes down the sleeves, a bit more of a patinated finish. But we went to them and said, look, it's a great jacket, but can we make some improvements upon it? There are some things that we think the UK market would appreciate, and they agreed, and this is the result of that collaboration. This is a version that is exclusive, as I've mentioned, to Motolegends. Starting point is a nicer leather. Nothing wrong with the leather on the Ace Vintage, but it was quite thick, it was quite stiff, it had a nice structure to it, and it had a vintage finish. This is a much more supple, much softer, what they call their finest MC leather. It's between 0.9 and 1.1 millimeter thick, but it is beautifully soft. It's a lovely, supple jacket. In terms of the thermal liner, one of the issues that we'd always had with the Ace Vintage was it had quite a thick liner. Now, when you had it in, the jacket was one size. When you took it out, it was a different size. It became larger. So it was difficult to ever find a fit that was perfect both for summer and winter. So what we said to Helstons is we would like to put in a fixed thermal liner. That's what this jacket has. So works incredibly well in the winter months. We all know Outlast, it's used in Rukka, it's used in Halvarssons. Have to use it in a particular way. You've got to get heat into it first because it stores heat and then plays it back. But it's also great in the summer. Lots of people use Outlast to keep them cool. So for example, Brian at BKS, when he makes his race suits, he puts in an Outlast liner to help keep the rider's temperature lower. So this jacket's going to be good in the winter, but it'll also be nice in the summer because it will take heat away from the body, store it and cool you down. In terms of cooling, it's also got another couple of nice features. These pockets, they're not pockets, they're vents. So you open these up in the summer. This is then perforated leather, and that is going to allow air in. You've also got down here, you've got a secondary placket, so you can ride with the jacket open, like that. With that placket, that's also a vented placket. So we don't find good quality venting on many leather jackets, but it was one of the things. We wanted this jacket to be as usable as much of the year as possible, so we asked them to do this, and I think it works really well. What this jacket does not have, that a lot of Helstons jackets have, is a waterproof membrane. Now, a waterproof membrane in a leather jacket's a bit of a waste of time on one level, because before the membrane can do its job, this is all going to become soaking wet. You're going to feel cold. It's going to be heavy. It's not going to be nice to ride in. But actually what Helstons tell us is that's not the real reason they have a waterproof membrane in their jackets. They have a waterproof membrane in their jackets because that's also a windproof membrane. So that just makes it such that you can ride a little bit deeper into the autumn, which is important in France, for example, because they ride most of the year in a leather jacket. So we asked them to take it out because over here we think a leather jacket is more about the summer. It does make the jacket a little bit lighter and easier and more supple, but we just didn't feel that there was a need for that membrane. Lots of the other details are kind of as you'd expect. It's YKK zips. We have some lovely little features, however. Like the way that this zip goes into a runner here, it means that it won't flap about. Here, on the vents here, we have little things called zip garages. So whichever way the zip is, you tuck that end of the zip into this little garage and it will not flap around. You've got adjusters at the waist. There's a 3-popper adjuster at the waist. At the cuffs, you've got zip and a 3-popper adjustment so you can get whatever gloves you want into there. In terms of protection, it's got 3-level armor in the shoulders, in the elbows and in the back. That all comes as standard. So we just love the look of it. It's very simple, it's very understated. We've taken all the badging off it. The Ace Vintage had big badges here, here, and on the other shoulder. This is a much more subtle version. One of the things which I'm going to get Graham, he will do a shot in a minute and he will go around the back and show you this jacket. The archetypal shape for a motorcycle jacket should really be very short at the front, or quite short at the front and long at the back, because when you sit on the bike, you do not want the jacket pushing up into the neck, but when you're on the bike, you want it to be low so that there's no gap between, say, your jeans and the bottom of the jacket. This has quite an exaggerated lowered back, so it works really well on the bike. So that's it. One shouldn't admit that one has a favourite leather jacket, but I suppose in that we did some work on this, this was the jacket that we wanted. Helstons have done everything we wanted. It's a fabulous jacket. It's the Ace Legend. Costs £450, but given what you get, I think it's not bad value. This is the Firebird jacket from Italian brand Spidi. Just so happens that it's totally exclusive to Motolegends in the UK. Not many other dealers went for it. We thought it was fabulous. So for now, it's totally exclusive to us. In fact, I think it will always be exclusive to us because this jacket's going to be discontinued in a year or so's time. What we really like about it is that it does not look like a motorcycle jacket at all. If you wore this on the street, no one's got to imagine you've got a motorcycle worn over a pair of jeans that are like this. It's just a really lovely leather jacket. The leather's actually a nubuck leather. Now, nubuck is a leather that has been brushed to create a kind of a slightly rougher handle. I say rougher, the leather is still soft, but it's not smooth and shiny like normal leather. The leather itself is a 0.9 to 1.1 millimeter leather, so it stacks up perfectly well as a piece of motorcycle protective equipment. There are some things that you need to know if you're going to look at this jacket. You have to buy it in a particular way, and we have had long discussions with customers here in the shop who haven't always believed what we've told them, but we know this jacket well. You have to buy it tight. The reason you have to buy it tight, and Graham will do some shots of this a wee bit later, is that up the flanks here, you've got a large band, a large accordion stretch band. Now, when you buy the jacket, that's got to be super tight on you. You've got to put this jacket on such that when you do the zip up, you can barely get the zip up. If when you put this jacket on first time, it's nice and comfortable and a little bit loose, as these give, as you ride on the bike, within a matter of months, this jacket's just going to be huge on you. So the one thing you need to know if you're going to look at the Firebird jacket is almost get it uncomfortably tight. It's got to be really tight. You can give it a few months, it will relax, and then it will become the fits that you would really like. One thing that some people don't like, because they look at this and go, I can't live with that fur collar. That fur collar's on the internal thermal liner. So if you want to wear it without that liner, if for whatever reason, I think this is lovely. In the winter, it makes this jacket really warm and cozy. But if you just can't live with that, it's very simple. Just don't wear the inner thermal liner because it's attached to that. If you wanted to wear your own jumper, some kind of mid-layer, a merino jumper of some sort, then you can do completely without that fur-lined collar. I think it would be a shame because I think it's certainly part of the jacket. In terms of other features, YKK zips throughout, obviously the main zip. We've got 3 pockets here, and then there's another 2 zip pockets on the inside. Protection-wise, you've got Spidi's own CE armour in the shoulders and the elbows. There's a pocket for a back protector. Now, it doesn't come as standard with a back protector like many jackets. Spidi do their own. We're not massive fans of it. We would put in our own converted D30 T8 back protector. We've converted that. We've put a strip of Velcro up the back of the protector because all of Spidi's armour attaches with Velcro, but it's much nicer than Spidi's original piece of armour. It's softer, it's a little bit less expensive, it's much more comfortable. So that for us would be a bit of a no-brainer. In terms of the comfort of the jacket when you've got it on, partly because of these stretch panels here, but those stretch panels come right up to the back of the shoulders. It makes this a really comfortable jacket to wear on the bike as well. And as we've said, one of the appealing things is it doesn't really look like a bike jacket in the first place. One really nice feature, again, that Graham is going to come on to, he'll do us a shot and show us that. And it is, I think, one of the strengths of Spidi. I've mentioned that a number of manufacturers don't give us long enough backs on their jackets, and we think a long back is really important when you're sat on the bike. We want it fairly short here so that the collar doesn't push up into the neck, but we want it long so it goes over the back of the jeans. This jacket has a really nice extended lower back. Price of the jacket is $450. That's what we would expect to pay for a jacket of this quality from a brand like Spidi. So if you want something a wee bit different, a little bit more understated, but still every bit of motorcycle jacket, have a look at the Spidi Firebird. So this is the Stripes jacket from French brand Segura, so-called stripes because it's got a couple of white stripes here on the sleeve, a couple of white stripes on the other sleeve, and also a couple of stripes across the back. You will see that when Graham comes in later and does a back shot that show those particular stripes. Comes in black or brown. It's made from a buffalo leather. It's been treated, it's lightly waxed, so it's quite a supple leather, very nice, very comfortable to wear both on the street and on the bike. It's got a 90-gram thermal liner. That's not a very heavy-duty thermal liner, so if you were going to be riding far into the autumn, then I think you'd want something a wee bit thicker. It's a thermal liner, but really in name only. It's not doing a heck of a lot. In terms of armour, you've got CE armour in the elbows and the shoulders. You've also got padding here, extra padding. That's both cosmetic for aesthetics, but also it gives you a little bit more impact resistance or absorption if you do go down in an accident. So you've got that extra detailing on the shoulders and the elbows. In terms of the armour, there's a pocket for a back protector. It doesn't come as standard. Now, the armour in this jacket is not D3O. Everyone knows we love D3O, but it just so happens that the pocket at the back will take D3O. Not all sizes take the same. Some will take what we call a D3O T8, some will take a T7, but the armour you want is the D3O without Velcro. Other detailing, you've got 4 pockets on the front, 2 breast pockets here, 2 slash pockets on the side. You've got 2 internal pockets in the thermal liner, but you've got another 2 actually on the jacket itself. You've also got a pocket here that you're meant to put your credit card in or your auto route pass or whatever. Zips at the cuffs. What we like on a jacket is that you can get this cuff nice and wide, so you can get a glove underneath it. You would then do the zip and you would clip it here. You've got a 2-stage adjuster with these buttons, so that works nicely. You've got a 3-stage popper adjustment for the hips, so you can tighten it up. It's got a slightly lowered back, not very exaggerated, but I would think it's probably a ½ an inch to an inch lower at the back than at the front. It's priced at $399. It's a lovely leather. I can't see that there's a problem with that price. I think it's about a bang on. If this is the jacket you want, if you want those retro stripes, then I think the Segura Stripes is certainly a jacket that you should look at. So this is the Malcolm jacket from Finnish brand Rukka. We all know Rukka well. It's the favourite brand of the high mileage commuter, the long distance tourer. Rukka makes some of the world's very best technical motorcycle gear. They work exclusively with Gore-Tex. They are the leaders in laminate. They make amazing technical wear. But a couple of years ago, the company realized that they were missing a bit of a trick. They didn't have anything for the riders who were moving on to smaller bikes, buying retro bikes, sit-up bikes. They had nothing that catered for that end of the market. And so this is their very first entry into what you might call the cafe racer market. And this is very much a back to basics jacket. It does what it says on the tin, but there are no bells and whistles. There's no waterproof membrane. There's no venting and so on. There's not even a thermal liner. It's just a very nice, beautifully made, high quality leather jacket. The leather itself is a cowhide. Comes in 2 versions. It comes in black with grey contrast. This is the brown with obviously a lighter brown contrast stripe. You get the same stripe across the back. The black is a flat black. This brown is slightly patinated, so you can't see it from there, but there are areas where it's lighter and darker. Over time, this jacket's going to develop its own wear pattern. In terms of some of the features of the jacket, obviously YKK zips, you would expect that of Rukka. They don't work with anyone else. You've got 2 zip pockets here inside. On the right-hand side, you've got a wallet pocket, and on the right-hand side, you've got a Napoleon pocket. You've got a cover here for the popper so that that doesn't stretch your tank. You've got a 2-position popper adjuster on the waist, and you've got sleeve and popper. You've got a sleeve zip and a popper, again, that's going to allow you to get a glove, whatever glove you want underneath there. In terms of protection, you've got these padded areas on the shoulders and the elbows. Partly it's got to be said for aesthetics, but they do perform a function. If you go down on there, that's a little bit of extra absorption of energy, so they have a role there as well. In terms of the armour that sits underneath this, we have D3O in both the shoulders and the elbows. I've got to say, if you wanted to upgrade it, and I'm not suggesting in any way that this is an uncomfortable jacket, most assuredly it's not, but if you were to upgrade the armour from the standard D3O to the Ghost, it would be even more comfortable because there's no shape to that armour. Basically, once you put that armour in, you wouldn't know it existed. At the back, there's no back protector comes with the jacket, but it is specified to go with the Rukka Level 2 protector. And it's very difficult, or quite difficult, to fit anyone else's armour into a Rukka jacket because they have a particular system with a Velcro loop from which the armour hangs. But I've got to say, I think the level 2 protector that Rukka wants you to wear with this jacket is just inappropriate. It's too inflexible. It works fine in a Navala jacket or a Calyx jacket, but it's too inflexible, it's too thick, and it has a shape on it that means that that's going to cause some read-through on the back of the jacket. So we don't think that's a very nice protector. Now, having said that, it's not easy to put other protectors into it. We have found that you can get a Furygan T7, T8 or T9 into this jacket. Fits into the pocket fairly nicely. So if we were going to take this jacket, that's again a level 2 protector, but it's much softer, much nicer to wear than the Rukka level 2. That is certainly the way we would go. In terms of fit, it's a more relaxed fit than some of the brands. So if you compared this with a jacket from someone like Segura or Spidi, where it's a much tighter, lower profile fit, this is a little bit more relaxed. What's also nice when you're riding the bike is we've got accordion stretch panels here on the shoulders. Again, you can't see that now, but when Graham comes and does a panning shot later, you will see that. And what that means is as you sit on the bike, the shoulders come around, you're not pulling on the leather, so it doesn't make it tight. It makes it much more comfortable. So the accordion stretch panel makes this a really nice jacket to wear on the bike. So that's it. It's a really simple jacket. Not much to shout about other than that it's beautifully made, as you would expect from Rukka. The one thing that there is, I suppose, to shout about it is that it comes with a 5-year warranty. If you register it with the importer, that becomes a 6-year warranty. Now, not sure how valuable that is on a leather jacket. It's very valuable on a Gore-Tex jacket because you want to protect against membranes wearing out and waterproofing and so on. But there's not that much that can go wrong with a jacket like this. Although there are zips, so if this zip went in 4 years' time or even 5 years' time and it couldn't be put down to wear and tear, then this jacket would be warranted, and I cannot think of any other leather jacket on the market that has that kind of warranty. It's priced at £500, not inexpensive, but I think about right, certainly the kind of price point that you would expect from Rukka. Whether that represents good value or not, that's up to you to decide, but that's the Rukka Malcolm jacket. This is the Shepherd jacket from Furygan, French brand Furygan. It is a different jacket in a couple of respects. We've chosen it for a couple of reasons. First, it is blue. There just aren't enough blue jackets around. The fact is we get bored here in the shop. Everyone does a black jacket. The place is jam-packed with black jackets. It's nice occasionally to have a jacket that's maybe in green or red or blue or something, and that was what attracted us to this jacket. It does come in black as well, but I don't believe anyone is bringing it into the UK in that colourway. The other thing that distinguishes this jacket is that it's what you would call a highly vented jacket. In fact, it's not venting through traditional vents, it's vented by means of perforation. So throughout this jacket, down the sleeves, 2 large areas on the back, down the chest here, and across here, across the shoulders, there are large areas of perforation. It's going to make the jacket very breathable when it's hotter. You've got a thermal liner. It's a pretty lightweight thermal liner. It's actually only a gilet, so no sleeves. But as you'd expect, there's no point in equipping a jacket like this with a really heavy thermal liner if you're then going to allow air to come in through all of these holes. So this is very much a summer grade jacket. That having been said, as a piece of protection, it works perfectly well. It's leather, so you're going to get high levels of abrasion resistance. Furygan are not yet moving to the EN 17092 regulation, so we can't say whether it's an AA or a AAA. I would imagine, my guess would be this would come out at AA, but the French have a dispensation. They can still use the old EN 13595 regulations. They created their own regulations for France, and they still have a couple of years in which they can rely on those regulations. But as a protective item, I don't think there are going to be any issues here. In terms of protection, you've got D3O in the shoulders and the elbows. If you did want to make this jacket more comfortable, as we've discussed with other jackets, you could put in the Ghost armor. It's going to fit directly into the pockets. There's a pocket for a back protector, doesn't come as standard, and we would put a D3O T8 in there, which is exactly what Furygan would have recommended, because it's actually their piece of armor we are putting in. Adjuster-wise, there's a twin popper adjuster here on the waist. There's a single popper here. What's quite nice here is a little garage here, so that if you don't want that flapping around, you can tuck it into that garage. Just keeps it sat there, means that it's not flapping around in your neck. Zips and pockets, all YKK zips, main zip here, 3 pockets on the front, 1 on the inside. So that's it really. It's a pretty straightforward jacket. It's lovely and light. It's fantastic in the summer, and because of its light blue colorway, just looks a little bit different to most leather jackets. Works really well, we feel, with a dark blue jean. The price is £330, so I think it's on the button. You're not going to expect to, or realistically expect to pay much less than that for a good quality leather jacket from a brand like Furygan. So if you're looking for something lightweight for the summer, look at this. So this is the Goodwood jacket from Belgian brand Ariisa, made from a quite heavily patinated leather. What they do, they dye the jacket and then they rub away in certain areas to take the color away. But it's also a kind of leather that marks on purpose. So almost whenever you touch this, whenever you scratch it, it creates a mark, but that's what this leather is intended to do. The idea is that it's going to patinate up really quite quickly, whereas some jackets in the past, it might take 2 or 3 years before you had any sense of character with them. This jacket arrives with a degree of character, and after a couple of years' time, it's going to look really beat up, the kind of jacket that maybe you always wanted. In terms of some decoration, we've got stripes across both shoulders, and you've got a big stripe up the back, which Graham will show you when he does a panning shot of that. One of the most remarkable features about this jacket, as far as we're concerned, is the price. It is priced at £299. So the question must arise, why would I pay 450, 500 at times, even more than that, for a leather jacket when this seems to do more or less the same job? And I've got to say, it does do the same job. I'm going to come on and talk through the features, but almost all of the things that I talk about being part of a more expensive jacket, you're going to find on this jacket as well. So you've got the same adjusters, the liner and so on. So is it worth paying the extra money for the jacket over this $299.99? That's a question I can't possibly answer. So when you buy a jacket with a fancy label, you are intrinsically spending some money on that. If you're looking purely for value for money, if you want the maximum bang for your buck, you would go for a jacket like this, because it does everything you want. It's got all the right components, and it's a lot less money. Anyway, let's go over what those components are, and then that might help you come to your own decision. You've got all the kind of standard pockets that you would expect. So you've got 2 breast pockets here, 2 zipped side pockets here. Inside you've got a removable thermal liner. You've got 2 pockets in the thermal liner. One's a wallet pocket, one's a phone pocket. When you take that out, you then have 1 pocket inside the jacket itself. You've got neoprene in the collar, which is a nice little touch that actually some of those more expensive jackets don't have. The neoprene is meant to, it does 2 things. It's about comfort, but it's also about catching the rain. If you are caught in the rain and water's coming down around your helmet, it catches it before it runs down into the jacket. You've got adjusters here on the waist. You've got a 2-position popper adjuster here, and for the cuffs you don't have a popper here, but you do have a zip that's going to enable you to open it up to enable you to get a glove inside. In terms of armor, it takes a D3O, so it comes as standard with D3O. You've got D3O in the shoulders, in the elbows. You have also a protector as standard in the back, a D3O as standard in the back, which again, given the fact that this is a $299.99 jacket rather than a £500 jacket, begs the question, why don't some of those more expensive jackets come as standard with armor? You could, if you wanted, improve the comfort of the jacket. Not that it's an uncomfortable jacket, but you could improve it by putting Ghost armor in the shoulders and the elbows. And we're now recommending that to everyone because the Ghost armor, the new Ghost armor, it's still the same level as the standard armor, but it's just so much nicer to wear. So whatever leather jacket you've got, if it takes D3O, or in fact, if it takes any armor with Velcro, you can just improve the wearing experience by putting Velcro armor into it. Other features really are not a lot. One of the nice things it's got is a connecting zip that enables you to connect this to a waist zip that will zip to your, or go around your belt on your jeans. So not quite as nice as the one we get from Halvarssons, which is a 360-degree zip. That's a little bit more secure, a nicer way of doing it in our view. But what happens with this will zip into a zip in the jacket. Then you weave your belt through there, and that means that you are in essence attaching this jacket to your jeans. It's a nice thing to do because if you do end up having an accident and you go down the road, it just stops the jacket from riding up. So even though this might not be the full Monte as practiced by Halvarssons, it's certainly a lot better than some of the manufacturers do. And again, I come back to the fact that if they can do that at $299.99, why aren't some of the manufacturers of more expensive jackets doing that? So that's it. It's the Goodwood from Ariisa. Fantastic value. If you like the looks, if aesthetically it does it for you, it does everything it's meant to do, there's no reason not to go for it. So this is the Eagle jacket from Swedish brand Halvarssons. Now when somebody comes into the shop to see us in Guildford and they say, I want something really lightweight, I want something just for the summer, this is normally the jacket that we gravitate to. It is a fabulous jacket for that kind of riding. And I'm going to talk you through the reasons why. First, it's a jacket that's made from goat skin. Now goat skin is particularly light, it's thinner than cowhide, but for its thickness it is actually stronger. So even though this is a lighter weight leather, it's going to feel lighter than a cowhide jacket, it's just as strong. Particularly as when it's used with, or by Halvarssons, they back the leather in all the key areas with a material that they call high art for extra abrasion resistance. Now high art, it does the job of Kevlar. It's not Kevlar, it's not even an aramid, it's Halvarssons' own creation. But basically, when they put high art into a garment, and they put it into all of their textile garments, all their leather garments, when it's used in textiles, it increases the strength of the outer fabric by 500%, so times 6. When they put it in leather, it increases the strength of the leather by 200%, i.e. times 3. So in this particular jacket, they'll have it all over the shoulders and down the arms. So even though this is a very soft and supple feeling leather, there's absolutely no trade-off in terms of safety here. It is still a very safe jacket. The goat skin itself, to give it this really nice kind of patinated, beat-up look, is a washed goat skin. Now what that means is, at the factory when they're making the jackets, they make the jackets, then they put them into an enormous tumble dryer and they run that on a cycle for hours and hours. When the jackets come out, they kind of beat up, it softened the leather, and that's the effect you get here. You put it on, this feels like a jacket you've owned for years and years. It is lovely to wear. In terms of protection, you've got level 2 armor in the shoulders and the elbows. It's Halvarssons' own armor. It attaches with Velcro. It is adjustable. It's okay. If you wanted to swap it for D3O Ghost armor, you could. It would make the jacket even more comfortable, but what I'd have to say, the reason why you might not want to do that with this jacket is that this comes as standard with level 2 armor. The Ghost armor is level 1. So you would be trading up in terms of comfort, perhaps in terms of wearability, particularly when you're not on the bike, but you would be trading down a little bit in terms of safety. As a back protector, there is a pocket for a back protector, but that does not come as standard. We really do not like Halvarssons' own back protector. It's like a surfboard. We cannot see any point, particularly with a jacket as light and comfortable as this, in buying this jacket and then shoving that surfboard up your back. So we always prefer to fit a Furygan D3O T8 protector. It fits in the pocket perfectly. It's going to get softer the warmer it gets as you're wearing it. It's even a little bit cheaper. To us, it's a bit of a no-brainer. If you're going to buy this jacket, or indeed almost any Halvarssons jacket, our view would be to go with some D3O armor. In terms of some of the external features, YKK zip down the front, YKK zips throughout. You've got 2 slash pockets here hidden within the leather piping. You've got another 2 pockets down here. Inside you've got 2 wallet pockets and you've got a little phone pocket inside. No thermal liner. As I mentioned, this is very much a summer jacket. If you wanted to wear it on a colder day, we have a customer who wears one of these all through the winter. They have a warm and safe jacket inside it. So you choose your own level of thermal lining, but as standard, it comes just as it is. In terms of adjusters, you've got these old-fashioned belt loop adjusters here on either side, very kind of Ace Cafe and the 1960s. You've got these zips up the sleeves with Velcro. That's the way we think cuffs should be done. You get your glove inside there, you do the zip up, and then you cinch the cuff round like that. If I had a criticism of this jacket, it is that I don't think it's particularly long at the back. It doesn't, that very much depends on what your proportions are, but if you are very tall in the back, you might find that when you sit on the bike, this jacket can come up a little short. Now, one of the things that Halvarssons does, every one of its jackets, leather and textile, will have a 360-degree connecting zip. So obviously, if you're wearing this with a Halvarssons trouser, that's not a problem, but most people are going to be wearing a jacket like this with a pair of jeans. But that's where their really clever, really useful, and really inexpensive waist zip comes in handy, and basically it's this. So what happens is you run your belts through your belt loops and through the holes in this to create this attaching belt that goes around your jeans. You can then connect this zip into the zip in the jacket. So you are then connecting your jacket into a pair of jeans in just the way you would with a technical suit. And because the zip in the jacket has a piece of elastication in, it means it's going to pull the jacket down. It'll never be uncomfortable. It would be if it didn't have that elastic on, but because it's got the elastic on, it doesn't create a sense of discomfort, but you're always going to find then that the bottom of the jacket is below the top of the jeans. So even if you are tall in the body, you just invest in one of these at £20, and basically you've got a jacket that's going to work whatever your particular dimensions. And of course, you should want to zip in anyway, whatever the length of the jacket. The benefits of zipping in are manifold. It's about rain getting in. I suppose not really an issue with a summer jacket like this. It's about cold drafts getting in, but importantly, it's about a jacket not riding up if you have an accident and go down the road. So if you can zip in a leather jacket, then we think that's all to the good. In terms of price, it's priced at £359. That's kind of where we'd expect it to be. I think it's a fabulous jacket. It's just the nicest jacket to wear in the summer. And if you want something really easy, something that doesn't feel like a motorcycle jacket, then this is certainly a jacket that you should look at. This is the Mojave jacket in leather from British brand Belstaff. I say British brand because for ages they were Italian owned. They're now recently back into British hands. It's the Mojave, sometimes known as the Brooklands jacket, sometimes even more confusingly, it's known as the Mojave Brooklands jacket. At the core of this jacket is its leather. It is made from a beautiful waxed Italian tanned leather. I can tell you that there's no other leather within the motorcycle arena that comes anywhere close to it in terms of the luxuriousness, the suppleness of the feel. It is a beautiful, beautiful leather. We really like it in this particular colorway. This jacket comes in two colors. It comes in black. It used to come in a dark brown, no longer at present, but it also comes in this color that we call burnt cuero. And I think the burnt cuero really shows off the waxing, because what happens is as they wax the leather, the different areas of leather go either darker or lighter. It shows up the leather particularly well. So it looks fantastic to wear. It is just beautiful. It's super soft. It feels like a jacket that you might buy on Bond Street, and of course it is the kind of jacket that you might buy on Bond Street as well. In terms of the features, we've got two flat pockets up here, we've got two slash pockets, we've got one internal pocket only. It's a Napoleon pocket on the left hand side. Not many bells and whistles on this jacket. That's not really what it's about. There's no thermal liner. Doesn't bother us. We have often been advocates of not having a thermal liner in a jacket. The problem when you buy a leather jacket with a thermal liner is when you take that thermal liner out, the jacket is too big. So you end up finding that you've got a jacket that is too big in the summer, maybe too tight in the winter. Our view is buy a leather jacket, have it mold itself around your shape, then put whatever thermal you want underneath it at the appropriate time. Jacket's got no membrane. Again, not big fans of membranes in leather jackets, and this isn't that kind of leather jacket. This is not pretending to be a technical piece of motorcycle wear. It's a in some ways, back to basics leather jacket. Got no venting as well, and I suppose I'd make the same point. I wouldn't expect that to be a feature on a jacket like this. In terms of protection, obviously it's leather. Leather is particularly abrasion resistant, so even though this leather has been treated and is soft and luxurious, it's going to be a really strong leather. There's no issues as far as this jacket's concerned in terms of protection. You've got D3O in the shoulders and the elbows. You've also got these areas of leather, these areas of quilted leather. Not only do they look great, but they are going to give extra cushioning if you do land on them, but importantly, they're going to give you an extra layer of leather if you do end up sliding down the road, so it increases the amount of abrasion resistance. In the back, there's a pocket for a back protector. It doesn't come as standard, but Belstaff do their own. They do a level 1 if you want comfort. They do a level 2 if you want a little bit more extra protection. The one thing that you could do with this jacket, and I don't say it's necessary because it is a lovely, comfortable jacket to wear, but if you wanted to make the jacket even more comfortable, probably more off the bike than on, then you could always fit the latest Ghost armor. It's beer mat thin. Once it's in place, you don't know it's there. This armor works fine on the bike because it cups the elbows and the shoulders, but when you're off the bike and walking around, I do think there's maybe an advantage in the Ghost armor. Other little features are the kind of things we've come to expect from Belstaff. So you've got corduroy inside the collar for comfort. You've got the same in the sleeves as well. You've got this belt adjuster on the neck. You've got a belt here, a belt and buckle here. And what Belstaff do, they give this a little garage or cover here. The idea being that you wouldn't want to risk getting your bike's paint damaged by the buckle. Here on the sleeves, you've got a couple of poppers. To the same end as this, not scratching the bike, whilst all these are metal buttons, this bottom one, it looks metal, but it's actually a rubber button. So this is one seriously cool jacket, and it comes in at a seriously cool price. It costs over £1,000. Now, how can we justify that? And I've got to say, from a motorcycle protection standpoint, I can't really at all. This jacket is not going to look after you any better than a jacket at half the price. But that's not really why you buy a Belstaff. You buy a Belstaff because this is the kind of jacket that's going to be worn by the George Clooney's, the Brad Pitts, the David Beckhams of this world. It is what it is. The fact that it's so expensive is the reason that you're going to want it, because it's going to make it exclusive. If this jacket came onto the market at $299.99, nobody would want to go near it. Is it an expensive jacket? Yes, but it's a Belstaff. So this is the road jacket from French brand Helstons. One of the things that you probably can't tell right now is that this is actually not a black jacket. I'm sure that on camera it looks black, but it's actually a very subtle khaki, so a kind of dark green. It works really well in the light, but at times obviously that's going to become black in lighting like this. It's made from a cowhide, a 0.9 to 1.1 millimeter cowhide. No one does as much with the waxes and oils to leathers as Helstons does. They've got a secret set of formula. They treat their leathers, they make them super soft, but it also creates all kinds of effects. And what this one does, not only is it softening the leather, but it's creating a kind of a two-tone effect, so that as you wear the jacket, it wears in different parts of the jacket, and it looks very authentic in terms of its kind of wear pattern. In terms of the thermal liner, it is again as per the jacket that they made for us, which is the Ace Legend. They've got a fixed Outlast liner in this. We approve, because when you have a normal thermal liner in a leather jacket, and in most of Helstons jackets they have a pretty thick thermal liner, it means that when you take that out for summer wear, you've got a jacket that's too big, and that's not very attractive. So we like the Outlast liner. Works really well in the winter as long as you get some heat into it. It stores your heat, place it back when you need it. But an Outlast liner also works well in the summer, because when you put it on, it will draw heat away from the body. It will cool you down. We think it's the perfect thing to have in a leather jacket to give you a kind of temperature regulating facility that enables you to wear it anytime from, say, March right through to October. In terms of some of the details, we've got 3 external pockets here. We've got 2 internal pockets, a wallet pocket and a Napoleon pocket. Protection-wise, as with all Helstons jacket, it comes fully equipped with shoulders, elbows and a back protector as standard. It is Helstons' own armour, so there's no notion of an upgrade to a D3O. It's actually quite a soft armour anyway, so I'm not sure it would be completely necessary in this jacket. You've got extra layers of leather in all the key impact zones anyway, so you've got extra leather here on the shoulders and also in the elbows. Now, what Helstons has equipped this jacket with, which we decided we didn't want when we worked with them on our own Ace Legend jacket, this jacket has got a waterproof membrane. Waterproof membrane leather jacket is not our recommendation, because why would you wear leather when it's going to rain? You might say, well, it'll give you some protection from the rain, and certainly it would, but by the time you reach the membrane, by the time the water reaches the membrane, this outer jacket's going to be soaking wet, it's going to be heavy, it's not going to be very nice. That's actually not the reason that Helstons put a membrane into their jackets. I know that sounds strange. Why would you put a waterproof membrane in a jacket if it's not about staying waterproof? They put a waterproof membrane in their jacket because that's also a windproof membrane. That means that in a Helstons jacket you can wear it deeper into the winter months than you could with some other jackets. And in France, which is their home territory, that's important, because whereas in the UK we only tend to wear leather in the summer, in France they will wear leather, if not quite all year round, certainly from February through to November, and therefore the waterproof membrane Helstons has found is very useful, because it means that you can extend further into the spring and autumn months. In terms of other details, you've got a popper adjuster here for the waist, you've got poppers on the sleeves, again with a zip arrangement here that enables you to get a decent sized glove inside. Little details that we love from Helstons, again, like these zip garages for both the slash pockets here and the breast pockets here. It just means that they will tuck inside these little pockets, they won't flap around when you're riding on the bike. You do have a bit of a lowered back, not as low a lowered back as we've got on the Ace Legend, but when you sit on the bike, this is going to cover, it will go down below the belt line of the jean, which is what we want in a leather jacket, because the last thing you want when you're riding along is a gap between your jeans and the leather jacket. It's a lovely, subtle, understated jacket. When you get close to it, the green is fantastic. It is a super stylish jacket. It is priced at $449.99, which is what we'd expect of a jacket of this quality. Most leather jackets, let's face it, are about looking cool. I'm not saying that this is a jacket that doesn't look cool, but this has a slightly different agenda. It is called the Celtic jacket, and it's from Swedish brand Halvarssons. And the idea is that this is a jacket that you can pretty much wear all year round. It's a cowhide jacket, super soft leather. When this first came into stock, we all were convinced that it was a goat skin. It's not, it's a cowhide, so it's very strong, but it has a suppleness and a softness that belies the origins of the material. One of the reasons that you can wear this all year round is that it comes with a waterproof membrane. Now, leather's not the first choice as far as I'm concerned for going out when it rains, because the problem is that the membrane, before it can do its job, the outer leather is going to become soaking wet and heavy. That's not a nice way to ride. But this is going to give you some protection from the rain, and even if the outer jacket does get heavy and you do start to feel cold, the rain should not reach the body. Personally, what I'd be doing is, if I found myself out in heavy rain, I'd want to have a waterproof over the top. The membrane, of course, has a second role. It's going to help keep you warmer, because a waterproof membrane is a windproof membrane. So even if it's not raining on a cold day, that membrane is going to help you stay warmer. You've got a DWR on the outside. A DWR is a durable waterproof repellent, so that's another way that's going to stop the rain soaking in. That's only going to last so long, however, because if you're wearing this a lot and you're out a lot in the rain, that's going to wash out. You cannot put the coating back by putting this in the washing machine, so you'll need a spray-on recoating to do every few months to keep that DWR active. In terms of when it gets warmer, you've got vents here, so you've got a big vent here. Vents are no good on a jacket if there's not an exhaust vent as well, because what you want is a clean flow through of air, comes in and passes out. So this jacket has great big vents at the back as well. So you've got a jacket that you can wear in the rain, you've got a jacket that you can wear in the heat. The other thing that makes this workable in really hot weather is that it has a treatment here called TFL Cool, and that reflects 95% of the sun's ultraviolet rays. So if you're out on a really hot day, the last thing you might think you want is a black leather jacket, but this jacket is treated with this. It's actually going to reduce the temperature of the leather by up to 20 degrees. It just makes it a lot cooler to wear. In the winter, This has got, or for the winter, this has got an Outlast liner. Outlast is super clever stuff. It's used in a lot of Halvarssons jackets. It's used in Rukka jackets. You have to use it in a particular way. If you're going on a cold day, you've got to get heat into it first. So you wear the jacket before you go out, or you leave the jacket by a radiator, but it stores the heat. Then when you get cold, it plays it back. This jacket not only has Outlast, but within that inner jacket, and it's a fixed inner jacket, you've also got Innerborn, which is a Thinsulite hollow fiber thermal lining. So this is a warm jacket as well. The other thing, of course, that Outlast does is when it's hot, it takes the heat away from the body and cools you down. So that's why at the beginning I said, this is, to the extent that you can ever get it in a leather garment, this is a jacket that you can wear all year round. It's actually designed to be worn as a suit. You can wear it on its own, and I'm going to talk about how you connect it to a pair of jeans, for example, but this is also meant to be connected to a pant that's called the C pant. That would mean that you've got a leather suit that you could wear all year round, and the pant has obviously all the same features that this jacket has. In terms of some of the details, we've got 2 external pockets here, we've got another 3 ones inside, we've got 1 for a phone and 2 normal wallet pockets. In terms of protection and safety, obviously there's nothing as abrasion resistant as leather out there, and therefore it perhaps shouldn't surprise us that this is a AAA rated jacket under the latest EN 17092 regulations. The armour that it comes with is level 2 in the shoulders and the elbows. It does not come with a back protector. We prefer not to fit Halvarssons recommended back protector because it's like a surfboard. We would always go for a Furygan T8. It fits the pocket beautifully. It's also level 2. It's softer, it's nicer, it hardens on impact, and actually it's a little bit less expensive as well. The other element of Halvarssons protection is a material that they use across their range of garments, and it's called High Art. When they use that on a textile fabric, it increases the strength of that fabric by 500%. When they use it on leather, it increases it by 200%, so times 3. So in the most vulnerable areas, that's basically the upper shoulder and the back here and down the arms, past the elbows. That is increasing the strength of the leather, as I've said, by a factor of times 3. So this is one safe jacket. It has a connecting zip. I mentioned that it would connect into a pair of pants that they call C pants, but if you wanted to wear these with jeans, you could equally. What you need to invest in, and it's an extra £20, and it would be £20 well spent, is this. It's what Halvarssons call their waist zip. You loop it in and out of your belt loops on your jeans or whatever pants you've got, and then you can connect this jacket to your pants. Number of advantages: stops rain getting in, it stops cold air getting in, but most importantly, if you ended up going down the road, it stops the jacket riding up. So I think that's £20 that would be incredibly well spent. Other little details: you've got this adjuster here. It's a belt loop adjuster on the hips. You've got a zip at the cuffs. That's basically it. It's a very feature-laden jacket. It's not, as I said, designed to be a super cool looking jacket. That's not why you buy a jacket like this. But if you're someone who wants to ride in leather, you want to be cool in the summer, you want to be warm in the winter, and you want to keep dry if it rains, then this is probably the best jacket out there. There is another one from Rukka called the Ace, but that's a different proposition, nowhere near as nice to wear. It's priced at £529. I think it's a great jacket. So if you want to see more leather motorcycle jackets, visit the website motolegends.com. If you click on one of the links on this page, sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there, that will take you to our leather jacket section. Now, when you do that, you can go to any one of these jackets, you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail, you can check on availability, and if you really like one of the jackets, you can buy one there and then. Now, when you buy from us, we try to make the process as simple, straightforward, and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on anything we sell, returns are totally free, and if once having received something you decide you want to return it for whatever reason, that is free as well. We have the best price promise in the business. John Lewis is rightly famed for their never knowingly undersold promise. We go one stage better. If you can find anyone selling anything that we sell at a price that is lower than ours, we will beat their price by 10%. Now, if that retailer is in Europe and not in the UK, we will match their landed price. There are a few terms and conditions, nothing particularly onerous, but if you are going to price beat us, I suggest you visit the website and check out those details beforehand. If in future you'd like to receive information from us about new products, then if you go to the top of the page, of any page on the website, there's a little bit of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on there, and within seconds you'll be in business. You'll receive bulletins from us in future. If, however, you would like to receive your information from us videographically, in other words, in this form, then we would be delighted if you wanted to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel, and you can do that on the button below. Now, recording this in 2020, during this year, we're running a competition. We're going to draw the prize just before Christmas, but we're giving away what we are calling a Steve McQueen tribute bike. It's based on a 125cc machine. It's a lovely little bike. You can read more about it on the front page of our website or on the home page of our YouTube channel, but it's a lovely prize. Someone's going to feel very happy when they receive it in time for Christmas. Finally, I'd like to make a little play for our fabulous little shop here at Motolegends. We are based about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station. As I've suggested, the footprint itself is small, but actually our shop is attached to a warehouse where we have £2 million worth of merchandise on 3 floors. Technically makes this the second largest motorcycle shop in the country. But we think that we are far more than just the amount of merchandise we have here in the building. We're all about the service, we're all about the personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. When you come and see us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian illy coffee. We will only serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And if you're lucky, you might just get one of Sean's mum's delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this review of our favourite leather jackets. This has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.